Hi there everybody, Flash Trials on here, continuing our adventure in Suzerain. Let's hit resume. Loading, so we'll remember where we got to. Revelations, this doesn't sound good. But it's all so far. Let's see what it's going to reveal. Right. News 5. Beware of new youth. New military organisation named New Youth started to emerge in Hull State University. In the first large-scale incident they were involved in, they attacked the bystanding security force and went even so far to burn a police car. As a result of their action, many students... Wow, this is new. Ooh, I've had this one before. Okay. Somewhat of love has begun. Amidst rising unrest, a large group overtook a small farm in Dare called Treestock Farm. Okay, so they were dancing and singing songs. Okay. Walk for Peace is now Lockhaven, okay. FC Enrica and FC Gelswood hand in hand for the only time in the history that sworn rivals FC Enrica and FC Gelswood fans stood side by side against police brutality during the derby match yesterday. Wow, I've never seen that one either. Yeah, we know about that. Oh, where did I see that one? Harassing entire Vaxlandian ships harassing the entire Markian Sea. Ooh, I've seen that one before. Oh, okay. Nothing to see there. Let's have a quick scoot around this, see all the little ones I've got to talk about, what they are. That's the type of anti-violence protest is gaining traction in Lockhaven. The walk from Lockhaven to Hull for peace. Yep, it's fine. Gathering of 9 to 10,000 individuals spotted tree plantation in Dare. A few of them were arrested under public nudity. Yeah, based some have loved that one was, we know about that. Large scale hooligans from both sides caused extensive property damage to the stadium in their protest against police. Okay then. We've had that in the newspaper, so we know about that. What else have we got to look at? Anything else to look at? Oh yeah, one up here. Vaxlandian harasses Swordfish ships. Not a great surprise. Vaxlandian Navy ships have steered a dozen Swordfish cargo ships out of their ship lines this week, leading to a maritime safety organisation to change sea routes. In the past, the United Qatar case is twice as long, but avoids potential contact with Vaxland Navy. Wow, that's not great. That's a stepping up of tensions. Right. So what is this about? A group of Hull University, group of students at Hull State University calling themselves New started protesting the police involvement in protest. Protest turned violent and assailant threw a Molotov cocktail at a squad car. They've been questioned, find out. Well, that's a bit of a new one. Okay. Okay, so let's do that, aren't we? So we've got the long way to L1 where we're running from Hull to Lockhaven. It's been finished. Okay. Well, even though it's been some issues caused by delay, delivered its promise. Yeah, but even so. To what extent did it deliver it? Opening the L1 light. It was finally opening. Tomorrow will be the grand opening of the L1 high-speed rail. Although the construction delay has taken its toll on our morale, there's still a pride moment for all of us. Simon and Gus, who had heavily assisted in the project, had come to discuss several many plans with Lucian and myself. Lucian stood up. First of all, the day might have arrived later than expected, but it doesn't change the fact that we are here now. This is still a big success. Congratulations, everyone. Too many more projects like this, not as late as this now, but anyway, well done everyone. We could have done that with our excellent team, indeed. Let's move on to our plans for tomorrow's opening tomorrow. It's a long time since the last successful infrastructure project. From a public relations point of view, we can certainly capitalise on the occasion. I have a plan how to do that. If the President accepts driving the first high-speed rail to Lockhaven will be great for our mission nationwide. To your thoughts, I don't support anything beyond the opening ceremony. The railway's completion speaks for itself. I see your point, but involving the President further could be beneficial for the administration. I think so too, Mr. President. Yeah, I agree. Get me on that train. Very well. Sounds fantastic. The President will have it like everyone in the driver's seat. Well, it's nice for sure. Additional large crowd has been invited to the ceremony. We'll be watching the opening speech. Nothing like a cheerful crowd. Looking forward to it. It will be a good opportunity for exposure. Like the good old campaign days. Things were certainly easy back then. On another note, it goes out mentioning this has been a team effort. Beginning with the President who put trust in me, I want to thank all who were involved in L1. Yep, everything's idea. We had disagreements, but the important thing was that the outcome. Soldier people have waited a long time for this. We'll show our best face tomorrow. Meanwhile, I'll make sure that our message about improving the countryside gets across. Alright then, we have a lot of work to do. See you tomorrow morning. Yeah. We did all disperse in order to prepare for the big day. Next morning, a stage had been erected inside the central station. It was a sunny day in our usually cloudy capital city. The crowd looked quite large. I spotted many party members. We took our places on stage. Signal for Lucian for the ceremony to begin. I gave the green light to Lucian, and the opening address began. Brothers and sisters of Sordland, I welcome you, whole Swordians, today as a proud servant of this country. Lucian's voice echoed in central station. Thousands of Sordland and USP flags began to wave as the loud cheers intensified. Without further ado, I invite the President of Sordland to the stage. Walked to the podium to address the crowd. The press were taking dozens of pictures. Swordians welcome to the opening ceremony of the L1 high-speed railway. Citizens welcome to the people of Sordland. Yeah, it's the whole country, not just whole Sword. The chanting and excitement from the crowd intensified. A large group began singing the national anthem. At the beginning of this journey, we promised jobs and opportunity. We kept our promise. Yeah, let's do that one. Trust me, our work is far from over. This project is only beginning. We built this railway to create economic growth throughout the greater Holsworth and Gansford regions. Our intention with the L1 railway is an easy commute between major cities. Yeah. Thanks to the railway, travel between Holsworth and Lockhaven is now twice as fast as endlessly more comfortable. Yeah, thanks to this railway, thousands of new jobs have been and will be created. None of this would have been possible outside of the advice of my cabinet member, Gus. Don't acknowledge the brilliant mind behind this project, Steve, Minister of Tax. Ensuring the success of the project wasn't just my it was my personal priority. Yes, I'm taking the glory for this one. The crowd began cheering my name. Lucian took my place on the stage to close the ceremony. Citizens of Old Sword, there you have it. As promised, Anton Rayne, fourth President of Sordland, has delivered. We walked towards the line where the first electric train was waiting. A red ribbon was hanging on the door by the door of the train. Simon handed me an oversized pair of scissors. Cut the ribbon. I cut the ribbon, triggering a wave of cheers from the crowd. The canvas flashed. Congratulations to all. Hopefully, the success will lead to many more. It was a good moment indeed. We have helped so many in the countryside. The train is prepared, sir. The journey to Lockhaven should take about 4 hours. The rest of us will be on the train as well. Get in the train. I entered the cab, took a seat with the assistant beside me. The crowd was trying to catch a glimpse of me through the window. Who do you want to travel in the cab, Mr. President? Lucian, I want you to ride. Let's go. Yes, go, Lucian. I want you to ride with me. I think this President will be a good journey. We could talk about the reforms on the way as well. The locomotive assistant flipped a few switches and the train began pulling out of the central station. Lucian waved at the press photographers as I drove. The new train was in pristine condition. Its electric engine provided the smoothest ride I'd ever had. After an uneventful 4 hours on board, we were welcomed to a throng of citizens at Lockhaven Station. The railway officially opened to the public right after we left, and thousands began using it. It's a great victory for my administration. We need to sit up there, though. We need to sit up there, otherwise it's a waste of time. Update. Okay. The press say about it. President Rayne opens the long-awaited L1 railway. As of due to the fact it is expected to boost production in between long to do, cannot be denied. This has been happily welcomed by our citizens. Tourist One Holding finally finishes the L1 railway. leaving much beside in terms of accuracy, quality and punctuality we own should to do. Fine, they're being a bit they're being a bit kind of, we're not going to see benefits of that immediately, which is fair enough, but anyway, right, nothing to see there. Then we need that to come through next. Discussing on changes to the law. Okay. Lisa and I sat across, waiting for Peter. I sat out. I was at my desk when he was on the sofa, legs crossed. Sir, I have some news for you. Mr. Hull and I have been working on several possible plans to boost the economy, as is our focus. He's currently compiling a very detailed report with suggested projects. I'll make sure you have a chance to see it soon. He looked at his watch again. Looks like Mr. President is late yet. Is easy late yet another time. He lowered his voice. I'm slightly concerned about Peter. He seems to have his mind occupied. He's been late to almost every meeting we've had recently. I don't know what's wrong. I also do not appreciate him being late all the time. So there's a knock on the door. It was Peter. He walked inside with files in both hands. Gentlemen, why are you so late? We were stuck in traffic on Sol Square. There was a whole gaggle of ladies trying to organise an illegal march. We had to wait for the police to show up. He placed the files on the table, took out several documents and organised them in front of me. Is everything just as you asked? Our plans for our next reforms? You can use your presidential decree to enact reforms now. We have enough political capital and also got the suggested reforms from our party. What are your thoughts, Anton? Let's go over the documents. So we've got you can select 3. It is every facet of the portrait can begin processed with a decree to remove the cult personality. Yeah, I'm signing that one. Absolutely. Fair trade and competition comparison. The Fair Trade and Commerce Sordland has few regulatory measures resulting in unfair competition at times. A new Fair Trade Commission can be established via decree to push for market conditions, gender equality in education, amnesty for ex-political prisoners. That's too much. Rural Education Institute Sordland lacks. No, I'm not spending money on that. Allow private prisons. All prisons in Sordland are run and funded by the Ministry of Interior. A decree could be passed to allow private companies to construct and operate prisons for profit. Well, that's out of that. Freedom of speech is protected in Sordland, but with the rise of new media, private organisations get a massive resource society. With a new decree, could create a government agency that could protect the independence of the media or control it. Let's go with that. Prescription medicine in Sordland, partially paid Ministry of Health. According to the importance of the medication, a new decree would allow citizens to get their medication for completely free. Potential public decree would political prisoners see arbitrary persecuted activists and thought leaders regain their freedom. I don't want to spend money. Retirement age, I'm not doing that. Gender equality. Then there's a new decree will provide a gender equality education system by reverting heterogender studies to You do not have stronger decree powers. Oh wow. Wow, this is quite interesting. Alright, we'll do that one. Hang on. Gender equality, yep. Done. Yep. Following discussion, I took notes about my decisions. Desalination, huh? You got some balls, Anton. I thought this would be possible. So they may create a lot of frustration and anger among Conservatives. Let us not forget the fact that we openly attacked the founder of our party, a risky move right before the elections. Real change isn't going to be easy, something you know that. It's also not Sordland. Of course, sir, but I'm not protesting the decision. I'm just merely exposed to situation, that's all. And as protection of prisoners, that's going to be controversial. At least it'll lift the burden from the government. He stopped for a moment and looked up as if he was trying to figure out which words to use. Looks like either Miss Weld or the First Lady had a huge influence on your decision. It's about time we went after equal rights for ladies, if only because all those women's marches starts to get annoying. This will, however, anger a lot of Conservatives. Let us not forget the fact that the biggest bulk of voters aren't socially liberal. This is a risky move before the elections. Half the country's women, Lucian. Yes, but how many of them are actually involved with these demands for changes? It is a mistake to make generalisation to become a vocal minority, but let's move on. It's the 20th century and we still don't know better rights home. This is unacceptable. Yeah. I understand, sir. Well, we both respect your decisions, Anton. But everything's settled. I should get to work. We'll catch up soon. Actually, I have 6 more minutes. Very well. Let's call it here. Thank you both. Okay. Right. Look at that. Budget's gone up. Rayne shattered Sordland school tradition. Until single-handedly said the death of Sordland's traditional public school system by mandating equality among male and female students. We believe this will result in generations of Sordland women who have no clue how to dance or bake their husbands a pie. Wow. Wow. That's just bonkers. Desalination could be the gravest mistake of President Rayne's presidency. Attempted to censor history. Okay, yeah, they don't like that. It's not a surprise. Yeah, they don't like me. Radical. Beginning of the end, they don't like that either. Yep, okay. Anything else? Finally, they like that. Yep. Lucrative possibilities, they like that. Circling over Stoleport. Scheduled visit to Republic of Ireland had failed to get off the plane when it landed at Star International, but believed they'd been too drunk. That's standard, that one is. Okay, nobody likes decisions I made, but oh well. Oh, what do they want? Queen demands reparation for 15-day war. 15-day war demands price doesn't be paid past the peace. Fine, that's not going to go on well. Commercial activity reports coming from Minister are comments to a record number of new companies being found in Gasol due to an economic boom. The reports also indicate increased logistic intake and output sees driving technical growth. Recent Council City has positive growth for the next few years. Cool, that's one piece of good news. Not sitting in there, mind you, but it's one good piece of good news. Personal recruitment increased and tanks procured. Minister of Defence General Isaac Lancy is reporting that efforts to expand our army are complete. According to his report, our army's personnel have been reinforced to the addition of 200,000 men, with the Second Army's mounting commander force to be increased to 50,000 men. In addition, 5 light tank battalions, 3 heavy tank battalions, equipped with S4 Sol tanks and H3 Sword heavy tanks, as reinforcements. So if I look at, how it puts us in line with government country overview. Unfair electoral. Okay, okay, they like that one. Unemployment. Average transportation links. Welfare. Gender equality. Order. Fine, nothing in there that particularly bothers me. Trade talks with President Lesbia. Okay, we go. After a long whistle, the marine trade slowly started to move. This train had been in service for many years. It had 9 locomotives with special quarters front and an office. As an enemy plate, it was painted bright marine colour. Among the flashes inches we departed from Hull Swords train station. Our destination was Perla, the capital of Lesbia. The historic route we were using was called the Southern Express. We passed through the Lesbian mountain range to lowlands with a short stop at the beautiful Sara Nueva, where Lesbian security forces joined us. Looking outside the window, the difference in wealth between Vaglen and Sierra Nueva was extraordinary. I did knock on the door of my office to my office on the train, and Simon entered. Mr. President, yes, what is it? I wanted to have a quick chat about Minister Alvarez and give you the heads up. There has been some rumours about his demeanour in public appearances. Go on. He's known to have met with other state leaders while intoxicated on various occasions. Some even call him an alcoholic. Is this something that could affect the trade deal? Honestly, I don't know. And the newspaper headlines circling over Stoleport. This happened yesterday. Apparently he was so drunk that he couldn't get off his plane on a diplomatic visit. After this incident, some say he's unfit to serve, but I don't believe that at all. Why is that? Although his presence is riddled with these kinds of incidents, I've also heard that he's a shrewd man. Thanks for giving me the heads up. I'm sure you will be fine, Mr. President. We're almost at Pearl. I'll return to my cabin now. I'll see you when we arrive. A few minutes later, after a long whistle, our train came to a stop. I waved at the crowd from the window. Lots of reporters flocked over. Were pushed away by Leicester security guards. We made our way to our cars, and the convoy began its short trip to the Yellow House. The Yellow House was situated at the very large centre of Pearl, in the middle of a circular park that was off limits to regular citizens. The park was full of roses on small patches. The convoy came to a stop, and I made my way to the entrance. The assistants directed me to a room waiting for Mr. Alvarez. Wait. I started waiting in the exquisite room with the golden chandeliers. I waited for almost 10 minutes, and there was no sign of Mr. Alvarez. It was almost time for our meeting. My chest started feeling comfortable. I stood up and walked to look at the various items in the room. Beautiful golden teapot piqued my interest. Leave it alone. I went back to my chair. The door opened, and Patricio Alvarez entered. Although I knew he was one of the youngest state leaders in the world right now, I'm still surprised how tall he looked. At his young age, he was leading one of the strongest countries in Eastern Macopia. He's holding his head like he had a headache and was stumbling. Upon seeing me, he immediately composed himself. We shook hands. He gestured to the catcher. He sat down face to face. President Rayne, welcome to Perla. Good to have you here. I hear a lot about your successes. It's good to be here. I hope we have a nice trip. I smelt the strong odour of alcohol. Have you been drinking? A couple of glasses of Fanta for one is the best way to start any meeting. Would you like some? Since you ask, why not? He gestured his assistants 2 glasses. They came back very fast. We took a sip. Nothing like it. Let's begin then. So you are here for the trade deal. What was it about again? Can you remind me? Are you making fun of me right now? I want to find Swedish tungsten in return for Lesbian capital. Oh yes, right. Sorry, I've just been very busy lately. You know, being a president makes you pretty busy. So I don't have any issue with this deal. I think this deal will contribute nicely to the relationship between Lesbia and Sordland. I will sign the executive order. However, I do believe there can be much more than just trade. By we I mean ATO. We'd like to see Sordland in our sphere. What do you think, Mr. President? Thank you for the offer, but sounds excellent. How do we begin? Why would we do that? What's in it? What's in it for you? Prosperity in Eastern Macopia, remedying old alliances, most importantly forming a defensive pact against the United Contana. He clenched his fist and slammed it on the coffee table. Those damned communists. We need to stop them before it's too late. Vagsland and barbarians are preparing to invade Hedgeland on false accusations. Fagnolius first, as Sordland will be next. I'll be frank, Eastern Macopia's only way to survive is through ATO. And we need the support of one of the largest players in Eastern Macopia, Sordland. The beautiful country of Sordland is the key to all of this. We need you, Mr. and we need Sordland. Are you with us? Will you defend our continent against the blight of communism? Down with the communists, I'll do whatever, you know. Well said. First Hegel will fall, then Malenev. I will offer you an alliance. Together we will shield the continent against Malenev's evil. My military ain't going to like it though. Not to mention that you'll have our cases full backing, the most powerful ally you can have in this era. I accept Sordland will be allied with Lesbia. Perfect, brilliant. You didn't know how valuable you are, Mr. Rayne. You just saved your country from its demise. I'll personally talk to Mr. Walker and let him know of this achievement. We shook hands and went for a hug. I could smell the alcohol on his breath. He looked at the clock. I'm afraid I have to leave to attend other matters. Thank you for your visit. He smiled and left the room. I returned to Holsword with good news. I'm not sure the military are going to like it, but Let's look at the, that's updated. Diplomacy, free trade zone with Lesbia, tungsten trade with Lesbia. Good. Hopefully that means we'll keep us safe from Umberg as well. So the government has officially signed a new economic deal on military pact with Lesbia, which brings the two economies closer through economic partnership agreement and their militaries form a new military alliance. Of course, the Sordland Lesbia alliance was made official by President Rayne and President Alvarez early yesterday. Daily Teller to sit both economies, big benefit to Sordland and Lesbian businesses, include strong commitment from West to support Sordland and Lesbian capital. It will bring the militaries of both capitals together, countries together. Cool, that was a bit of good news, hopefully. Whether my military agree with that, I'm not entirely sure. Let's have a quick look at that then, what the military think. Military. Okay. Okay. Outdated military equipment, military thing, whatever. Lack of reservists. What could possibly go wrong? Private meeting with Peter Vectin. Let's get a drink. It was a dark and chilly evening when Peter called and asked me if we could meet. He gave me the details, but he said it was important. I drove alone through Holsworth suburbs until I reached the meeting point. 147, Work Avenue, number 27, around campaign headquarters, untouched since the night of action. This is where everything began. This is another one that always comes up. I made my way to the dusty staircase of the office building. The light in the second floor hallway was out, so I used a cigarette to find my way to the wooden door marked 26. I pulled the handle, it wouldn't budge. The heavy door has always been a pain to open. Coming, Peter pushed open the door with all his weight and made a screeching sound as it opened. Without further ado, I bid you welcome to the Grand Nostalgia Trip, hosted by yours truly, Peter Vectin. He made a excited bow. The dust from opening the door was still settling down. Feeling sentimental yet? Indeed, I haven't been in this place for ages. I miss it sometimes, even that damn door. Come over here, remember this? He walked over to his old desk and pointed to the gramophone that had annoyed our neighbours and kept us company for so many late nights. Peter flipped the switch and it filled with the swinging music from the 20s. I'll be damned, it still works. I thought this offer was sold off. Now I've been paying the rent, too many memories to attach to this place just to sell it, you know. We might use it again soon. Put his hand on the desk and brought a bottle out. He took a swig and passed the bottle to me. Drink. That's my boy. Peter tapped his fingers to the music while going through the items in the room. He looked virtual and changed to selection night. Come, let's look and see if it doesn't bring back any memories. Look through storage boxes. One of the boxes I found heavy object wrapped in. I unwrapped it. It was an emerald coloured statue of a goat, the symbol of Sordland. I remember it was a gift from Brenda, one of the 50 election campaign assistants. It would look very good on my desk at the palace. Brenda, always sucking up to him. Where did it get to? Seriously, where? I have no idea where she ended up. Take the statue. Check the drawers. And Squeaky Chen opened the top drawer. A few coins underneath. Something caught my eye. It's a photograph of me and Monica sitting under a tree. Must have been 10, maybe 15 years ago. She looked so happy. Monica would love to see this. Nice one. Look at baby Anton. You didn't even have your iconic look. Take the photograph. Go for the records. Found one of my favourite albums, Over Mountains by Jeanette Goose. A set of plaintive folk songs that made me yearn for the countryside when I ever heard it. That was a classic. You should know it so we can learn what real music is. Take the record. Let's talk. Yeah, it's all in good time. He gestured to the bottle he had in his hand. Drink. Took a very big gulp of the bottle. We'll stagger to the side afterwards. I know you, Peter. What are you hiding? Let's go up to the roof. I always view as amazing from up here. Went upstairs to the roof. The view was memorised, and the building also twinkled below us, while the stars shone bright in the sky. We sat and leaned back against the wall, taking it all in. Right as I was starting to get up, I heard a sobbing sound. I turned to Peter and saw tears streaming down his cheeks. What's wrong? You wipe tears away. I've messed up, Anton. I messed up big time. Evelyn's leaving me. She wants a divorce. What the hell did you do? I've been sleeping with. Leave you sooner. You've been what? I know she's a secretary. I'm so sorry. It's just Evelyn hasn't been the same since she lost her job, and Livy's been giving me sore looks from day I hired her. You were aware I was drunk. Then one thing led to another. She's been more than just a pretty girl, and she's smart and kind. I think we've connected. No need to just try. How could you do this to me? I like her. That doesn't break my vows to scan for a bit of horizontal polo. I like her too, but it doesn't mean I'll break my vows and risk scan for a bit of horizontal polo. I know, but we're ending things. I told her it's too unprofessional, and I want Evelyn back. Too late. You've still a chance this could get out. I need to talk to Lucian. Who else knows besides me and the three of you? No, but I swear, maybe Lucian, since he knows everything, but he'll never spill the beans. There's an age of desperation in people's voice. He took another drink. How many years have we known each other? How many scapes have we gotten ourselves out of? I can't just trust me. I turned to face my friend and vice president. Habits that had gotten him dubbed the bad boy sordid policies when we were younger were no longer so charming coming from a middle-aged man. Yeah, he's still a capable politician. I couldn't ignore our long history together. I'll be blunt. You will fix this on me from office. It's an affair. I'll handle it. You don't know if I'll handle it myself. Without waiting for his reaction, I left her up and made my way downstairs. On the way out, I grabbed my belongings and took one last look at the office. I need to tell me how to remember so sure, but this had permanently cured me of any nostalgia. As soon as I arrived home, I headed upstairs to my study and sat down with the telephone. I can't remember if we found out about this affair previously from Lucian directly. Call Lucian and tell him. He picked up very quickly. Yes, Mr. President. I tell Lucian what Peter told me Evelyn about himself, Evelyn and Olivia. I call Mr. President. The search to confirm suspicious of my own. We have to meet right now. Tomorrow morning in my office, before either of the two arrive. Don't bring this up with anyone else. I fear we have a more of that dance on our hands. The line dropped. So I received a warning of what the last statement meant and what was going on that I didn't know about. I went to bed, couldn't sleep at all. Like we all know, well, I know what's coming. Geopolitics, trade sanctions, yeah, whatever. Don't care about them. They're always going to happen. Yeah, it's always going to happen. Basically. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. National Business Councils demand stimulus. Stimulus didn't like budget surpluses. Miss opportunities with growth, like injection to drive up the trend yet, so they want us to spend the surplus we've got, which is fair enough. You can't do that, can you, really? Right, let's deal with this. It was early in the morning after my talk with Peter. The sun was beginning to peek over the horizon. The moon palace was empty save for a few clean stuff. I entered the office to find Lucian already waiting for me. President, thank you for meeting me at this hour. Cut to the chase. Very well, I'm pleased that you chose to come right after conversation with Vector last night, although I was already aware of his illicit relationship with Miss Sooner. I figure as much. You don't know anything about past after all. How did you find out? I'll get to that. On its own, given Mr. Vector's established reputation as something of a playboy, the affair is unlikely to cause much damage. However, a more troubling possibility has been brought to light. A recent conversation with Mr. Hellstone, our whistleblower from Lundberg, revealed the presence of a spy within the Marine Palace. I believe Miss Sooner is our mole. She's been using a relationship with Mr. Vector to gather information. Tell me more. I could do better. I'll show you. Lucian reached to his coat pocket and pulled out an audio tape. I fed it into the reel-to-reel machine on my desk. This was recorded in the palace at 1809, the second of your trade visit to Lesbia. He pressed by. I heard Peter and Lucian Olivier's voices. You sure everyone's gone for the day? Relax, Liv. Nobody's worked that hard. The president stick up his hat off in Lesbia. With a giggle, I heard the sound of kissing, then drinks being poured. I'm glad you stayed behind. Did he tell you how it's going over there? Do you think there's a chance to form an alliance? As a matter of fact, yes. He and Prime Minister Alvarez have just sealed the deal. Enough work to... soon I want you to bend over my desk now. Blimey. Lucian grimaced and switched off the tape. Then what happened? You don't need to hear the rest of it. The important thing is why so much curiosity about this political alliance is not because they could strengthen us against Wurmberg. And that's not. I found a resume on file. There's a year-long gap between her finishing secretarial school and beginning a career. Normally this would be looked into, but Miss Suno was hired before a background check could be completed by one Peter Vectin. She sends a knock on the door and Olivia opened it cautiously. Good morning, Mr. President. Mr. Gallagher, I didn't realise you'd been so early. Can I get you some coffee? Coffee would be great, actually. Olivia, let's make a coffee. Miss said she came back with 2 cups. Please have a seat, Miss Suno. Puzzled, there's something the matter. Enough pretending, your secret is out. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Come Olivia, Peter told me everything. Buried her face in her hands. I'm sorry, Mr. President, I was foolish and Peter was so nice to me. 7 hours, nobody ever needs to know. That's not what the President means, Miss Suno. We're referring to you being a tele-agent for Wurmberg. She sat up like she looked shocked. Pardon me, Mr. Gallard, are you feeling alright? He's fine. No, he isn't. You'll just have to excuse him. Excuse him. Gives all his arms. I've seen him indulge me. Minute, what are you doing here in 1951? She must know. I was working as a sick girl at Porto's. It's like over the saloon. I was saying it's like I formed my own place in Hallsword. Pass number if you need to double check. Score telephone with a piece of paper. Lucian snatched it up. Why were you so eager to help David and Benfie? Why are you so eager? To tell you the truth, Mr. Rayne, I was hoping to run for office myself someday. I want to make a real difference. That's like the garbage. But I guess I messed up with getting involved with Peter now. I was saying I slept my way to the top. Wait, how did you know about that conversation? There's a lad pounding on the door, barged without waiting for an answer. He was unshaven and wore the same clothes the night before. What's going on? I told you something under control. Sit down and shut up. Took a seat at the front of the sofa. He looked at Olivia and noticed a troubled expression. God, why involve her? This is my mess. She did nothing wrong. Well, there's a small chance she could be a spy. I what? I've reason to believe she's been relaying information to Wurmberg, information that you leaked to her in your carelessness. Lucian, we ran the plate again. Peter listened, his eyes wide in disbelief. Lucian, you've been bugging my office. Obviously for good reason. Both Peter and Lucian, Olivia were glaring at Lucian that he looked unrepentant. I had noticed the Vice President's behaviour becoming increasingly erratic and unprofessional over the past month. I want to get to the root of the cause. So you wiretapped your own goddamn colleague after what you've been getting off on this, you pervert. Certainly not, I believe, along with the Wurmberg whistleblower's admission that as a spy in the palace and certain gaps in Miss Suna's resume, this tape makes it a compelling case to investigate the Secretary for Espionage. Whether or not the investigation is positive result, Mr. Vector ought to be held accountable for his willingness to divulge sensitive information. He ought to stand trial or at least resign. Peter's jaw dropped. Olivia stood up. If I may, Mr. President, I've been paying attention to what goes on in this palace, not because I'm a sort of agent, but genuine interest. It's hard to believe for you to believe Mr. Gallard. She scowled at Lucian. She turned back to me. From what I've seen, the man has been tempted to undermine your Vice President Everton. Perhaps his goal of replacing Peter himself. Nonsense. Lucian's been nothing but loyal to you. It's true, but he can never stand me. Lucian frowned. My personal misgivings about Mr. Vector aside, I'll never do anything to harm this administration. Mr. Vector, on the other hand, has at least at best committed adultery, at worst delivered state secrets straight into the enemy's hands. Who could I believe? Lucian and I can speak alone for a moment. Out now. Way outside where I talk. It's an office. What have we gone to, Mr. President? I believe we should invest Olivia. I'm not investigating my own secretary. I won't play into your hands. I believe we should do. Not me. You make the call. I've already told you what we should do, Mr. Investigate. If she turns out to spy and when it gets out, I'll look like a fool. Not in Mr. Vector's shoulders of blame as he should. I won't make him do that. So I do have permission to proceed with the investigation. No, Olivia and Peter will continue work for me as usual. None of this happened. So this is a mistake. From now on, I'll ask when I want your advice. I don't want to hear another word against either of them. I'll face the consequences. Yeah, I don't know why. I've always gone investigator. The two ones we've always investigated her, and it's all caused all sorts of trouble. So we're going to go. This includes John. I've never seen this unhinged in all my years working with him. Very well, sir. He stood stiffly and walked out of the office. I was right to defend myself from my best friend, but I hoped I just hadn't made an enemy. Okay then. Right. 7 days has passed since conversation with Peter, Olivia and Lisa in my office. Lisa was still acting frosty towards me, rejecting his advice. On the other hand, Peter and Olivia are all naturally nice to me, although they've already spoken to each other. I settled in behind my desk, and Lisa knocked on my door. Sir, matter of your time. Of course. Entered the office and closed up behind him. I still believe you were wrong to pursue an investigation of me sooner. However, I acknowledge my lack of concrete evidence and unorthodox information gathering method may have given you pause. I could have been less rude about it, though. I could have been less rude to you about it, though. Yeah. I could have been less rude to you about it, perhaps. At least look me in the eye. I feel I will be filling my duties as Chief Justice not to give you one last piece of advice on this. Please consider dismissing me sooner from position at the palace just in case I'm right after all. Well, she has been a distraction to Peter. Keeping Mr. Vector around may be another mistake, but that's a conversation for another time. It's alright, if it'll get you off my case, I'll fire her. Thank you, Mr. President. Good as to Master, she tentatively stepped in. What is it, Mr. President? I thought about how useful she'd been as my secretary. You're fired, Olivia. Well, what? I thought we'd run over all of this. I don't share Lucy's suspicion of spot, but I can't take the risk that he's right. You're too ambitious for this job. Go get a proper university education. Is that the best you could come up with? He glared at Lisa, not at me. I hope you're both happy. You've ruined a woman's career simply because she acted too much like a man. She stormed out, slammed the door behind her. Trust me, Mr. President, the decision was the correct one. I hope so. I showed him out and went to brew myself a cup of coffee. Yeah, let's hope that hasn't. Codex is indexed for Livia Suno. Others, Livia Suno. Section until 1956. Okay. Okay. Let's hope that's not going to backfire on us, eh? Alright. Breathe for a woman's right situation. Okay. So in my office, I looked at the clock. 2:26. Almost time for my appointment with Kara on women's rights. I was knocking on the door. Kara entered the room, folders in hand. The door did not close behind her. Monica entered the room and stood next to Kara. Mr. President, Anton, before we start, I just want to say thank you for agreeing to this meeting. I've been dreaming of this about since I volunteered with the Soldier League of Women. I can't believe this moment's finally here. I think both of you could finally bring change to Sordland. I hope you've thought this through. Real change, quite careful, considered plans. We did. Kara sat down in the chair and laid down the folder she was holding. First off, I wish to thank you for pushing a decree on establishing general quality in education. Yeah, this is something I've been trying to accomplish since my appointment as minister. The situation of public schools was disturbing for me. That said, we're still a long way from before Swordish women are able to enjoy the same rights and privileges as men. Or even as their counterparts in Arcadia and Atakantana, we've been lagging behind on this for decades, Anton. This is only a moral issue. I've seen enough revolutions in this world to stand the main drivers of any change. Money. She flipped the folder open and started pulling out documents. In Article internal laws, it dictates that women earn the same wages as men in their respective fields. My research shows that this led to a 15.5% increase in productivity. You could say this had a direct influence on their superpower status. Our case passed laws ensuring maternity leave rights, childcare day centres, tax deductions for working families. In turn, they experienced 12.6% productivity boost and a flourishing economy. Both countries also like significant low infant mortality rates as technology directly linked to improved status of women. Administration has just failed to pull Sordland out of the economic recession. Sitting back in her chair. I'm asking, so why not try passing some laws, or at worst, even if they fail to improve the economy, it will still be a significant step forward for our society. It's only logical. When I handed one of the documents, it had a list of bullet points on it. The two of us have talked it over. These are two we believe are most urgently needed. I've marked one down the list. Criminalising domestic violence. I shouldn't have to tell you how crucial this is. It's utterly unbelievable that instead they children are legally allowed to beat their wives. It's a travesty. I'm happy we're on the same page. As instances especially high within bloodish communities, I would also advocate setting up a special domestic violence task force in collaboration with bloodish women's rights organisations. Monica looked at me strangely. Are you sure that's something we should focus on? The Bloods are different, they have their own rules. Well, I can surprise that we can't let them form the patriarchy no matter what their ethnicity. I'm still not. We should list all Bloods included. Yeah. We discuss the particulars once the law is passed. Support for working mothers. It's simple, isn't fair that women in the workforce are punished for having children. Remember that I told you about journalist my friend who's basically got 5 for becoming pregnant. That would never happen to a man. Paid maternity in states such as daycare centres could be key to keeping more mothers employed. It's true, having children never hindered my case, but it shouldn't hinder a woman either. Exactly. Moving on. Equal treatment in the workforce. That's an easy one. Right now, Sordland has one of the largest pay gaps between men and women. We need legislation ensuring that women doing the same job as men as a man is paid the same wage. You can also introduce quotas to get more women into positions of power in the assembly, for instance, or on the boards of corporations. Eventually, narrowing the pay gap is far more pressing, as it will bring financial independence for countless low-income women. However, we never talked about this, but I always thought with more women in power, higher status for women would naturally follow. Women are starving because they don't make a living wage. That's a damn sight more important than your friend Janice being passed off for promotion. The problem with tackling the pay gap is more urgent. Good to the T. Thank you, Mr. President. That covers all our subjects. What's your thoughts so far? Yes, just do it. We made a good case for all these changes. Thank you. If we can pull this before the elections, Rayne administration will make history. Let's talk about how to proceed. I want to establish a commission for women's rights in Sordland. With me at its head, our goal will be passing and implementing a set of laws to solve the problems we've just discussed. As Commission spokesman, my responsibility will be to make speeches and organise fundraisers. I will be the face of this movement while Cara handles the groundwork. If I can show the First Ladies behind the movement, then many women will feel encouraged. Cara gestured down at her outfit, especially these who aren't keen on pantsuits. This organisation's name will be the Commission on the Status of Women. It's going to be damn hard getting those laws past the Assembly. I know, but even a watered down version would be better than nothing. I suppose that I know we've had fiction in the past, but these are nothing to do with the failed education reform. This is a complete separate topic and we should be handled as such. You have the chance to become a hero. Think of Dana and her future. Hope you'll make the right decision. Quickly to think. Yes, do it. Let's say yes. That's all the excitement you can muster. We did it. I hope she smiled uncomfortably. It's not yet Monica true battles in the Assembly. We will celebrate once it's done. I'll start gathering names for commission tonight. Carl collected her documents. She and Monica headed towards the door. Monica paused before leaving. I love you, Anton. I'll see you at home. I could hear Monica and Cara talking excited to each other as the door closed behind them. I looked out the window over the city of Holsford. It was a clear day outside. Okay, so now what? Look at the time. Do. Let's see what this is about. There's a massive fundraiser. Yeah, I've got no money left now, so we're. Yep. So, pay makes donation of Swords League of Women. Okay, radical. Anton donates to support women. Will policies follow? Yeah. Right. Mediation. Right. That's right. That's one for next time. Cause I'm not having. They're not having that. I'm gonna keep Lancey on side on that one. Right. We'll come to that one next time because I know what that one's about. That's been done. Average transport links increased trade volume. Hopefully that'll keep improving. Right. Good episode this one. Stuff done. We've now got alliance with Lesbia, which means it was less likely to get crushed by Lundberg. However, that could be a problem up there, Vagsland. But anyway, this one next time is going to be a fun one today. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.